Hi, I'm Sheila DeLuca, and welcome to the Atrium. I am so excited. All of us at DeLuca Leadership, the Business Link, and Spark Niagara are extremely excited for the launch of the program, the Atrium. As you would think of growing, cultivating, and harvesting a garden, conversations on the Atrium will focus on the planting of seeds for a growth mindset and the rising to a healthy, hopeful, and optimistic, bright future. It's with great honor that I introduce to you today a friend, a colleague, and a strong advocate for the City of Niagara Falls, Councillor Victor Pietrangelo. Hi, Victor.
Hi, Sheila. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. I'm so excited to have you here today as one of our first guests on the Atrium.
Yeah, I'm so excited too. It's like, wow, the first guest? I mean, come on.
The first guest. You know, the last time I saw you, you were running 50 kilometers with fellow Councillor Mike Strange, and it was a long day, and I just was wondering, you know, what went into that planning, that thinking behind wanting to run 50 kilometers. It's 50, 5-0, not 1-5, 50, and 50 seems a lot to someone. Sometimes 5 seems like a lot to someone, so I'm just trying to understand, you know, what went into that thinking behind running 50 kilometers.
That started kind of as an idea that we wanted to do something. We wanted to do something that was positive, obviously. And, you know, being in this COVID situation where we're in a provincial state of emergency, we were coming up on the 100th day of lockdown. And both of us felt that that was really significant, being in lockdown for 100 days. So we wanted to do something with a 100 theme. Originally, Mike had suggested, let's run 100 kilometers. I'm glad I talked him out of that. And I'm glad we settled on, let's just run 50 each of us, and we can add those two 50s together to make 100. And that was our 100 challenge. So that's really where it started. And then from there, we kind of, you know, let it morph a little bit into, you know, well, let's make sure that, you know, we put the message out there that we're all in this together. Because really we all are. We all have to do our part. So that's why we ended up choosing Community Crew. They're a great organization. They feed kids lunches in different schools right across the region. And I don't know that everyone knows, but when COVID first hit and schools closed, they didn't stop feeding kids lunches. They just ended up bringing them to their homes. And right now with COVID, it's very difficult to do fundraisers. So, you know, we were just kind of hoping for a double whammy there, raise a little bit of awareness for Community Crew, as well as raise some funds for them, and just take more of a regional approach, because that's what Community Crew is. They're in different schools in the region. So we ended up, you know, starting in St. Catharines, and then we ran to Thorold, then we ran to Welland, and then we ran to Niagara Falls. So we kind of got to cover a lot of ground there.
You made a loop.
Yeah,
That's fantastic. That's and much appreciated, definitely.
Yeah.
What was the most challenging part of that day for you? Like, there must have been some challenges. It all sounds great, right?
Yeah.
And when you think about it beforehand, yeah, you guys are no stranger to running, that's for sure. It's been your sport, but what are the challenges that you faced that day?
Well, I mean, first and foremost was the heat, right? I mean, the only 100 I didn't want to see was on the thermostat. Yeah, there's all kinds of different things that lead up to it. You know, there's a bit of anxiety every time you have to do a long run. You know, you're always checking the weather to see, you know, what it's like the next day. On that day itself, it was probably the heat which led to, you know, a lot of loss of liquids. A lot of fluids, a lot of electrolytes, a lot of salts coming out of your body, which leads to cramping. So that was some of the challenges, but it was all brought on by the heat, really.
Right.
So.
Yes. What got you through those challenges?
You know, it was a lot of fun going through the training schedules. You know, committing yourself to, you know, getting out and running every single day or every other day, whatever our commitment was. You know, that we made to each other. That was a lot of fun. A little bit stressful at times because not every day do you feel like, you know, going out for a run. But it's something that you get through together. And then there's a little bit of the anxiety, right? Every time you got to go out for a longer run, you don't have a great sleep the night before, things like that. But all in all, I mean, it's just a matter of setting that goal and making it to the end, really.
Absolutely. How did you get started with running, and how old were you when you first started to run?
Well, I don't think I ever ran as a kid. I'd put my shoes on and go for runs. That never happened. I grew up loving sports, playing sports, whether it was soccer, or I loved lacrosse, I loved squash, got into ball hockey later on, but it wasn't until I actually met my wife, Anita. Anita is a runner, way better than I am, by the way. That was when I first started to actually go out for runs, and then it became part of my lifestyle once I started to have kids, or once we started to have kids, because you look at your day and it's so packed, and you think to yourself, okay, I have 45 minutes or I have an hour. I can actually put my shoes on, get out the door, and get back within that time frame.
Right.
So that's when it really started to become part of my lifestyle.
Yeah, and you wanted to spend time with the love of your life.
There you go.
Of course,
there
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. One more question about this runner's mindset is, how has it carried you through some difficult times in your life?
I think probably the first one to me is just not giving up. Once you set that goal, it's always nice to cross that finish line. That's probably the first one, is just not giving up. Along the way, there's always going to be different bumps, different obstacles that you have to overcome. That's in typical running routes. It's also in life. So I think just being able to take a breath sometimes and realize that you're going to get through it, no matter what it is that you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. So that's probably the best answer I can give you as to how the runner's mindset would apply to my everyday life.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And if someone could get inside of your mind and see what you see, what would you hope for them to learn about your runner's mindset?
Well, I had a student, Julianne Misk, who was able to teach me to never give up. So that's probably one of the most important things that I would like to tell people, is just simply to never give up. Once you set your goals, there's always going to be bumps in the road. There's always going to be different obstacles that come up. There's always going to be little setbacks. But I think if you just stay focused on where you want to be, and you just chunk it and take it, day by day, that you're going to get there. So it's a matter of staying on course and knowing that eventually you're going to get to your goal.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so from an ordinary person would normally do. So my question to you is, if you had a superpower, or what would it be? What is your superpower?
I mean, for me, a lot of people tell me I have a calm presence. So whether I'm chairing a meeting or whether I'm just entering a room as a participant, that's what I bring with me. I bring a calm presence. So I'm a very black and white person. I try to take emotions out of my decisions and just analyze things based on facts. So that's me. I usually don't get too riled up or too down at all. I just kind of stay even keel. So.
Well, thank you very much. That's a great way to end our conversation. Thank you so much for coming here today and sharing with us. Thank you for adding value to everything that you do in your professional career as a city councilor, with your family, and all the rest of the areas of your life that you touch. When I think of the work you do, I think of something that Albert Einstein once said, and he said, trying to become not a man of success, but a man of value. And that's who you are. You are definitely a man of value. Whatever you do and wherever you go, you add value. So thank you very much for having us here today.
Thanks for having me, Sheila. It was great.
Awesome. Great job.